I can say unrelated to that, she's a disaster for New York. She's a horrible, horrible human being. And I think she's a total crook. There's no question about it. But that's just my opinion. Pam's going to have to do what she wants. She's a very bad person. She's a very, very bad person who campaigned solely on I'm going to get Donald Trump over and over again. She's a sick person. But that's has nothing to do with what Pam does. Pam is going to do what's right. She always does. I've known her a long time.
Well, as if Letitia James could not go any lower. Now she's leveraging and putting the tax-paying citizens of New York on the hook for her lawyer fees. And in this video, what I'm going to show you, I'm going to lay out to you the videos from people within New York who cannot believe what's going on with this lady. And when you hear and see what's going on and what they have to say and how the New York governor is helping this happen, it's going to blow you away. But we're going to start right here. Right here. The Senate GOPers push back on $10 million taxpayer-funded Tish James slush fund that could pay her legal bills. Let's see. Senate Republicans are pushing back on a $10 million slush fund that was snuck into the Empire State's budget that could be used to pay Attorney General Tish James legal bills as she's facing a criminal probe. The GOP urged State Comptroller Tom DiNapoli to reject using the money in a letter, not mentioning James by name, but quoting the Democrats' own comments as she sought to prosecute President Trump. This proposed use of public money is a gross misuse of taxpayer dollars, said the letter, which was signed by Senate GOP Minority Leader Robert Ortt and 21 other Republicans. This is the power of attorney. This is where what happened is this. This one is the power of attorney where Letitia James in 2023, just 46 days before she started the prosecution on President Trump, wherein she accused President Trump of mortgage fraud to wherein the value of his Mar-a-Lago, Florida palace, New York State Attorney General and the judge felt that he misrepresented. Now, the lender, the people who gave Trump the money to fix up Mar-a-Lago, they were paid back on time with interest and said it was a pleasure doing business with President Trump, and they want to do it again. But what happened was the New York Attorney General, they decided that this property that's worth close to $1 billion is worth only $18 million, even though on that block, on that street, in that neighborhood, there is no properties that are $18 million. And President Trump's Mar-a-Lago property is worth closer to $1 billion than it's closer to $18 million. It is documented, tested, and true. But in New York, the New York Attorney General decided that they felt like the lender was done wrong, even though they were paid back with interest and want to do business again. So it was a victimless crime. So she prosecuted President Trump for that. Now with hers, 46 days prior to her prosecution of him, she purchased a home in Norfolk, Virginia with her niece, whereas to get more favorable federal interest rates and federal support, as it was a federal program, she stated that it was her primary residence. Now, it is illegal. You cannot be the New York Attorney General. You can't be the Attorney General in New York with residence outside of the state of New York. So the fact that as the New York Attorney General, she says that her primary residence is in Virginia, that alone is a conflict and cannot happen. That's number one. Number two is that she also in 2001 bought a 5-unit brownstone in Brooklyn. But on every piece of mortgage-related documentation, she's listed as 4 units. So when she did the loan application, again, to take advantage of federal favorable rates, she lied and said it was a 4-unit dwelling when every single piece of documentation on that property listed as a 5-unit. Why did she do that? Because in New York, 5-unit was commercial. So the rates will be a lot different because it's not a primary residence, not even a residence. They consider that to be a commercial building at 5 units. At 4 units, she got residential rates. Therefore, she lied and misrepresented. It's not even alleged. It's already documents. They've shown them. They've already been put out by Sam Antar. He's the gentleman who did the investigation that busted her in the first place. So it's already been exposed. So she listed this 5-unit dwelling as 4 units, not only on the mortgage application, but also on the insurance application. So when she got homeowners insurance on both properties, she had to have it For the 5-unit brownstone, she listed it as 4 units. So they've got her on fraud, not just mortgage fraud, but also on insurance fraud. And now, guess what? People have been saying they waiting on Pam Bondi to take action. She's taking action. Subpoenas have gone out. They've subpoenaed Letitia James, her office. And here's the real kicker. When she signed her power of attorneys, you have to have a witness. Letitia James got her deputy attorney general to witness her fraudulently authorizing these mortgage loan applications. So now she utilized her employees to act as her witnesses when she was committing the fraud. Another conflict of interest, because were they witnessing that because they believed it, or were they doing it out of fear of retribution or losing their job? So now Letitia James, we're at this point here where the Kathy Hochul, the governor, they created a bill and they tried to slip the bill in, and within it, it created a $10 million slush fund. Should I say legal fund? For anybody that's prosecuted by the Trump administration, their legal fees will be covered. So she wasted the taxpayers' money, the New York taxpayers' money, on the prosecution of President Trump, which will be overturned. It's in the appeals court right now. And every legal scholar has said this will be overturned. Even when they took it in front of the Supreme Court, the Supreme Court asked the prosecuting attorney, the defense attorney, or should I say the prosecuting attorney, they said, has there ever been a case to where the state has prosecuted when there's been a victimless crime? Has this ever happened in the history of New York law? If you enjoyed this video, do me a solid, hit that like button, because I'll never ask you for a Cash App or a Super Chat, but you hitting that like button really helps the channel. It helps us get the information out there. And if you aren't subscribed to the channel, subscribe. On the Real Politics Podcast, that's what we do. We talk real politics. So once you subscribe, make sure you hit that notification bell, and then you select all. And that way you'll be notified when I upload new videos. What do you think they said? No. It's unprecedented what they did to him. So let's get back to where we are right here. I just wanted to make sure that you were up to speed with everything that's going on. So this document here is the actual power of attorney that she signed. And remember, the witnesses for this are also employees of the Attorney General's office. So guess where their legal fees will be covered from also? Right. So she made President Trump have to dig in his pockets. She wanted to take his buildings. He wasn't allowed to use any government funding. He had to come out of pocket. He had to get bonded. And so now she wants to leverage the taxpayers' money to cover her legal fees, because what a legal proceeding will do is drain you, just like she tries to drain President Trump and every other person she prosecutes. That's her MO. So now the chickens have come home to roost, and we're here. So it undermines public trust in government and sends a troubling message that elected officials and state employees are entitled to a publicly funded legal defense, even for matters entirely disconnected from their public responsibilities. So she isn't being sued for any action she took as Attorney General. She's being sued for things she did in her personal life, in her personal time. And it's forcing the taxpayers to cover it under the legislation put forth by Governor Kathy Hochul. New York, y'all have to vote these people out. As someone once said, no one is above the law. The letter sent, parroting a phrase used by the Attorney General, who is now under investigation by Trump's Department of Justice. Governor Kathy Hochul and fellow Democrats in the state legislature created the fund, which allows top government officials to use the fund to pay for any reasonable attorney fees and expenses incurred if they fall under federal scrutiny after January the 1st, 2025, as Trump was set to return to office for a second term. A spokesperson for DiNapoli confirmed receiving the letter but had no further comment. So let's get into the breakdown, this quick video by Paul Morrow. Now, Paul Morrow, who he is, he's the former director of the Bureau of Investigations and Enforcement. So he's somebody that was high up ranking in government and is a common Fox News contributor, but he's going to tell us exactly what's going on in New York. Check this out.
Guys, Paul Morrow here again for Opsdesk.org. So right now there is a report out that up in Albany, New York State's capital, as they finalized the state budget, at the last second they snuck in a measure that sets up a $10 million defense fund, that is a legal defense fund, for anybody who is quote unquote targeted by the Donald Trump administration if you work in New York State government. Now, obviously, this is being set up for, and I suspect at the behest of, Tish James, our New York State Attorney General, because she has been accused and referred for potential criminal prosecution of mortgage fraud. In fact, the exact type of mortgage fraud for which she pursued Donald Trump. And from where I sit, the evidence is quite compelling. Here's the thing. That mortgage fraud and the other allegations that have been leveled at her relative to her Brooklyn home here in Brooklyn, the apartment building that she owns, as well as the Virginia houses, actually, reportedly it's plural. Those things have nothing to do with her official duties as the New York State Attorney General. Why am I, as a taxpayer, on the hook for that? Anything she does in her official capacity, she's indemnified for. That is to say, the New York State government will pay for any defense she needs. But this has nothing to do with her official duties. And it's outrageous that all of a sudden, my money, the money of the New York State taxpayers, is going to her defense because she thinks she's quote unquote targeted by Donald Trump. And I have to tell you something. One of their lines of attack here is that all of this is a Donald Trump revenge tour, that these are all Donald Trump people coming after her and Donald Trump promised revenge. Well, they better be careful with that, because the person who dug all of this out, Sam Antar, is on record saying he's a Democrat and he has had no connections and no contact with the Donald Trump administration. This was independent information that was brought out. It's come to light. It's credible, and it's been referred for investigation. The idea that I have to pay for that defense is outrageous. Governor Hochul, where are you on this? Don't sign that budget. I'm Paul Morrow.
So that's what's going on in New York. Now, here's a quick other breakdown, just real brief. And in the comments, tell me what you feel about it. Do you think it's fair that New York is on the hook? Do you think Letitia James should have her legal fees paid for at all by the taxpayers, or should she have to come out of pocket like President Trump did? But let's listen to Laura Ingraham them on this last clip here.
How will this go over with the hardworking men and women of New York who've already seen enough of her games for a while?
Yeah, I mean, you're already in the highest tax state. There's any number. We're going to pass a budget, Laura, that's going to be about $255 billion here in New York in the next couple of days, passed, by Democrats in both the Senate Assembly, by Governor Hochul. And this is maybe one of the more egregious. They're going to take $10 million of public money, tax dollars, for private legal defense. Don't forget, this is regardless of whether it's even related to your job. So even if somebody else had a DUI, they could tap into this fund under this law. But this was drawn up expressly for one official, Tish James, to defend, so she can use the tax dollars for her legal defense against the federal government.
Legal slush fund. Yeah, legal slush fund because allegedly she wanted certain benefits that she got by fraudulently stating things, allegedly, on these mortgage applications.
Wow. So there you have it, y'all. As you can see, man, our this New York Attorney General, she's rogue. She went after the right one, though, and now she's going to have to pay. But unfortunately, the New York citizens may have to pay also, which is some BS. And if you live in New York, I hope that you write your senator and your congressional members and let them know that you dislike it. Luckily, I'm in Florida, and I really do like what my governor and what my state senators are doing and representing, because Lord knows if I didn't, I'm on them. Email, mail, phone calls if I have to. I've never done the phone call thing, but emails or mail. Definitely, I'm an American citizen and I participate in the political process. But I just wanted to bring you this information. What do you think about Tish James putting the citizens of New York on the hook for her legal fees for the crimes she allegedly committed in her personal life? I just wanted to bring that to you. And again, if you watched the video this far, thank you. I really do appreciate you. And if you haven't already, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment, tell me what you think. Most importantly, I want you to be safe and you stay great. I'm Brian Maxwell saying I look forward to seeing you at the top. Over and out, y'all.